All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 3. That is right, week number 3 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class for the summer of 2024. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Austin, and what we are going to do today is a brief state of the course update, and then after that state of the course update, what we're going to do is a quick look at one of our databases, or one of the databases that's out there. We're actually going to look over and get an introduction to Gale legal forms today. So that's what I'm going to do. I will come back to that and explain a few things as I am introducing you all to that database. But first, we got to do the state of the course update. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way, and then we can learn about our database. Pause. All right, so the first thing we need to do with this state of the course update is this. So I am recording this on Tuesday, and I sent this out earlier this morning. Contact your virtual reference partners today. So I'm going to remind you all again, each week in this class is like 2 weeks. Each week in this class is like 2 weeks, okay? So that means that if you did not contact your virtual reference practice partner last week, you let 2 weeks go by without contacting them, and you had basically 4 weeks to do the assignment when it comes to regular class time. That's only 2 weeks in the summer. You all are perfectly aware that the summer course is 8 weeks instead of 15 weeks, so you should expect to be checking your emails more frequently, and you should expect a quicker turnaround time as far as when you have to do a group assignment and as far as assignments in general, okay? So the fact that for those of you, and it's been several people who have contacted me and said they haven't heard from a partner. If you let 2 weeks go by without checking in with your partner, that's a problem. And if you let last week go by without checking in with your partner, because each week is 2 weeks in summer school, you let 2 weeks go by if you did not contact them last week. That is a problem. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. If you are viewing this on Wednesday or later, you have let 3 weeks basically gone by because you let a week and a half go by. And again, every week is basically 2 weeks. So if you let a week and a half go by, you let 3 weeks go by. That's a problem. Get in touch with your partner now. Because if you have not gotten in touch with your partner by Thursday, your partner will probably have made alternate arrangements with me by then, and you will be up the creek without a paddle. You don't want to be in that situation, okay? Because I've already told people what they can do if they have not heard from you by Thursday if you have not contacted them. So they will be doing that, all right? And that means that you will not have a partner if you have not talked to your partner by Thursday. Take me seriously on this. Okay, so that was the main thing I needed to get out there. Now, other things that we need to talk about, again, that assignment is due on Sunday, and we've had a few questions about the assignments. So before you email me, you by all means email me if you've got questions about the assignment, but I will say that before you email me about the assignments, if you've got some questions, look at the questions area of the discussions first. So if you go to discussions, you will see basically a questions area here, questions, comments, and news. And you can ask me questions in that area. So if you have not, if you have a question, ask it. Well, check there first, okay? Check there first before you contact me, because it might be a question that one of your classmates has already asked. And in fact, one of the questions that's over there about the assignment is a question that I also got from 2 people by email. So I am, again, going to reiterate. Check there first, okay? And then if you have questions, you can also put the questions there, or you can Canvas message me or email me, whatever. We just want to make sure you get it through. We just want to make sure you get through the course, okay? Also, other things that you need to be aware of is that, yes, you do have discussion board prompt number 4 and discussion board prompt number 5 that are both going to be due this coming Sunday, as well as your virtual reference assignment being due this coming Sunday. Now, I will say this because I know it's a lot of pressure. Again, this is a required class and it's a summer school class, so there's going to be a lot going on. But what I would like to possibly comfort you all with is that after you do discussion board prompt number 5, discussion board prompt number 6 is not due until July 7th. So you don't have any discussion board prompt that's due on June the 30th. Again, discussion board prompt 6 is due on July 7th. The final discussion board prompt will be due on July 21st, so 2 weeks after that. And then the next assignment that you have due, you'll turn in your virtual reference practice assignment on this coming Sunday. Ooh, that's not where we want to be. Virtual reference, that's where we want to be. Sorry, June 23rd, you're going to be turning that in. But then your Wikipedia assignment will also not be due until June 7th. So basically on June 30th, you do not have a deliverable. On Sunday, June the 30th, you do not have a deliverable. After this coming Sunday, you've got 2 weeks to do the discussion board prompt number 6 and to do your Wikipedia edit. And while you're doing that, you should be probably working on your semester-long project as well, okay? But just be working on your semester-long project throughout the course. But as you can see, that is not due until July 26th. So those are the main things you need to know as far as state of the course update, and then I am an email away or a Canvas message away if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns. So that pretty much takes care of that. Let's go ahead and get an introduction into Gale Legal Forms. All right, so the Gale Legal Forms database is not available through Mizzou, but it could potentially be and is likely available through your local public library. Now, I'm going to be using the Missouri version because I'm based in Missouri, but most states, if not all 50 states, do have a version of this. So just because if you're seeing this, if you're watching this, and you see me go into Missouri Legal Forms, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I live in Massachusetts, or I live in New York City, or I live in Michigan, so this doesn't apply to me. Don't make that assumption. It might be that your local public library has the Michigan Gale Legal Forms, or the Massachusetts Gale Legal Forms, or the New York Gale Legal Forms. So don't assume that this doesn't apply to you just because I'm getting a Missouri version and you don't live in Missouri. Let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, I need to add a disclaimer. Sorry about that. Okay, so also when it comes to disclaimers, as far as what I'm doing here. So something that you all need to be aware of is that it's not possible to quote unquote teach reference. I know a lot of people just kind of wish that library school taught them the skills. I know a lot of people wish that. I know a lot of people are just like, man, I wish library school would just tell me how to do the job and then I can get hired and do the job. And that's, I kind of wish it were like that too, but there are multiple things at play. One of those things at play being that librarianship is so diverse that it's not possible to just have a program that trains people how to do it, because academic librarianship is different from public librarianship, which is different from school librarianship. And then once you get into a specific type, for instance, K-12 librarianship is different at the elementary school level than it is the high school level. And it's different, academic librarianship is different at the community college level than it would be at Yale, and so forth and so on. Public librarianship is different in an Iowa suburb than it would be in New York City. So things get different. And so that's why it's going to be different no matter where you go, and then the type of role you have. Your job as a cataloger is going to be different from your role as a reference librarian, and so forth and so on. So because you can do so many things, it's impossible to just teach reference. And I know that's what people wish I could do, but I will tell you, I've been an academic librarian at several different types of academic libraries, and also I've been a public librarian in adult services at an inner city public library. None of those experiences were really the same, except for the fact that, yes, I'm working with books and databases and dealing with people. But outside of that, the experiences are not the same, folks. So what we do is we do give you the education and the foundational knowledge that you need for being successful in this field. And I'll admit, we kind of indoctrinate you a little bit. But at the end of the day, once that education and indoctrination takes root, that kind of gets you thinking as a librarian, and then you can go into a career and, I guess I don't have a better way of phrasing it other than perform appropriately, okay? But having said that, when I show these databases, I'm not actually training you on how to use the database. What I'm doing is giving you an introduction. And then if you want to actually learn how to use the database, get some practice on the database, and then also, in addition to getting practice on the database, go ahead and, just get some practice on the database, but then also you can go ahead and also find tutorials online. So you can probably find tutorials within the database, and then also you can find tutorials within places like YouTube and things like that that will teach you how to use these databases. Okay, so let's make me small here, and I'm going to access this through Mid-Continent Public Library, which is my home library in the Metro Kansas City area. And again, the database is called Gale Legal Forms. And so I'm going to go to legal here. Okay, Missouri Legal Forms. So this is Gale Legal Forms, Missouri Legal Forms. And I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to show you all very, I shouldn't say very quickly, but I'm going to show you all how this works. This video will probably be, okay, so we're at 10 minutes. It'll probably be 25 minutes overall, and remember, you can speed it up. Now this login is taking a little while, so I'm going to pause here. Oh, never mind. I was going to pause, but here we are. Okay, now, so this is the Gale Legal Forms database, and it is focused on Missouri. So once we enter the Gale Legal Forms database, we'll be brought to a page like this. And if you're in a different state, then it's going to say North Carolina Legal Forms, New York Legal Forms, whatever. And when you get into this home page or this landing page, first you'll see your most popular searches over here. And this tracks with my experience. Usually when I was using this database a lot when I was a public librarian, but never really used it as an academic librarian. But when I was a public librarian, I would use it a lot because a lot of people don't want to hire lawyers to do things like divorce or wills or that sort of thing, landlord tenant. They want to do it themselves and save that money, especially with divorce. So they would come to this database to do that. So you have your most popular ones here. And again, I would say that for me, divorce was the most popular one, but I did get paternity, I did get name changes, I did get quite a bit of landlord tenant. So you get that a lot. Okay, but then in addition to the quick or the popular ones being here, you do have all the main categories down here. So you can browse. There's a browse feature here, and then there's a search feature over here. And we're actually going to do the browse feature first. So that, oh, I also had, and I don't know why this is not on one of the most popular, but I got a lot of automotive too. So that's something to keep in mind. You could potentially have a lot of automotive. And in fact, that's what we're going to look at now. So, let's say you have a patron come in and they are looking for a form related to titling their car or something like that. What you can do is you can go to automobiles from here, and then you've got these things here. You've got subcategories. So bill of sale, that was a big one that I would use. I didn't know landlord tenant would be under automobiles, but apparently it is. You got titling here, you got sales, something, and so forth and so on. I know I just said I was going to go to titling, but it's actually easier to do some bill of sale work here. It's less confusing, so let's actually look at that. So we can click bill of sale. And then what you're going to see is, first of all, there are two different types of forms that you're going to see in this database. They're either going to be state specific, or they're going to be generalized and used throughout the United States. If it's used throughout the United States, then it's something that generally is going to be just kind of standard, and it's not going to be a type of issue that is subject to a lot of specific state regulation. But if you've got something like bill of sale of an automobile and a odometer statement, then, or as is sale here, these two things, those are going to have big state implications. So instead of being U.S., they're going to be Mo, they're going to be Missouri, they're going to be state specific. So let's say that, oh yeah, my patron wants the one for bill of sale for automobile as is. So we can click that, and my patron is based in Missouri. And before we actually preview or take a look at it, we can get a little description here. So if you read this description, this form is a bill of sale for an automobile. It tells you what this is for and everything. If the description looks like it's what the patron needs, then you can go to related definitions and make sure that the definitions, that you understand the terms basically that are being used. and you can see if you're, it's not up to you to make sure that the patron understands, but at the same time, you can show the patron this and make sure they understand as well, okay? And then, if this looks like what you want, you can also do the preview here, look it over, and if it's still looking like what you want, a lot of the forms are in English and Spanish, including this one, but there are some that are English only. But hey, you got English and Spanish options on this one, and I'm actually going to click the English form here in Microsoft Word and open it. Okay. All right, and then you get here, you can enable editing, and then I'm going to close that. And all you have to do from here, which makes this a very convenient database, all you've got to do from here is fill in your blanks. So, County of Jackson, I'm paying $2,000, blah, 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 2,000, and you just fill this out. If you need to fill it out in front of a notary, make sure that you do that. So, as you can see, this has notary information on it, so you need to do it in front of a notary. Not everything is going to have the notary information, but that's something to, again, pay attention to. And once this is filled out, signed, all of that stuff, you have a legally binding agreement, and that is how it works, and it's as simple as that. So this is a very useful database, and it's something that people often will refer to, especially when they are trying to avoid paying attorney fees. And you're going to have a lot of different things. Again, you've got the landlord tenant, you've got the divorce, you've got all of your big guys here. So if you go to divorce, you will see, and these are Missouri specific, so Missouri newly divorced individuals package, marriage name change, trust, living trust, all of these various things. Most of these are going to be, at least at the front, I'm not going through all 108 forms, but at least at the front you're seeing that these are Missouri specific, okay? So you have that, and then the last thing that I will show you, and again, if you want to actually learn how to really use this database and what's in it, then you're going to have to get some practice on your own. But I'm giving you that rough introduction and telling you when you would likely be encountering or using this database. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you, let's get back to the home page. The last thing I'm going to show you is you can also do the search, okay? So let's say that I am looking for a contract for a wedding photographer. I can put in wedding photography as a search. And these are not going to be, because they don't have a lot of state-specific stuff when you're doing something like hiring a DJ or hiring a wedding photographer. There is a DJ form in here as well. I know I've actually used the DJ form for an event I was doing. So you got, those events, you got wedding photography. They're not going to be state specific. So you've just got the US version here. And again, once you have that, you can just click it. You've got a description, get your preview. And then if it looks like it's what you need, then you can go in there. Again, just download. Enable editing. And as you can see, with a contract like this, it doesn't need to be all that state specific. So this is on the date of June 18th, 2024, between the photographer who is going to be, I don't know, Will Smith sounds like a good name. It's kind of, and the client who is going to be Jace Austin and blah, blah, blah. And you fill all of those out, you fill it out, you fill it out, you fill it out. People usually don't change this information, but if it needs to be changed, then quite frankly, I wouldn't change it. I was about to say if it needs to be changed, it needs to be changed, but quite frankly, I wouldn't change it. If you think you actually have to alter that language, I think it's time to buckle down and just hire an attorney. Okay. Oh, good. Look, we are potentially keeping this under 20 minutes. Yeah, I think I have introduced you to this database. And again, I hope you sped this up. I'll put a note in the announcement about speeding it up. But, yeah, let's just go ahead and keep this under 20 minutes because it's very rare that I do that. I am Dr. Jace, and please show your virtual reference partners grace by going ahead and responding to them and getting the ball rolling so that everybody can do their assignment and be happy. I am Dr. Jace, and I'll see you next week.